recap.
We got called to Boston to go check out a haunted house because the landlord of the house wanted to figure out what was going on and see if it could be taken care of because the last renters went crazy nutso and ended up in an asylum, and he wants to be able to rent it out again, but nobody's willing to rent right now. And we visited the asylum, talked to the parents. They both went crazy nutso. We found out that this place has a history of craziness of various types, including murder and suicide and things like that. All supposedly, perhaps because the original owner of the house, the Corbett dude, is a cult person, and he may or may not be buried in the basement. And we also found an old, what was it? Chapel of Contemplation, which is
Mhm.
definitely totally not Cthulhu cult.
No, it's just a church.
That icon on the map was just a coinky dink.
Yeah. That was just some weird vines you guys saw growing on a very, very legitimately carved statue.
And there were some dead bodies in there because the police raided the place and it got set on fire. They raided it because there was claims that they were responsible for disappearing kids in the neighborhood, and a whole bunch of them got arrested. But all but, like, I guess the core of the group, the most important people, were released.
Mm-hmm.
And then the leader, was he the leader? One of them got arrested, was given a really long sentence, and then fucking escaped and disappeared. We also found a book that made Evie go a little crazy. Well, not crazy, but like started hurting her head. And Nathan's like, we're just gonna put that in the safe. You don't need to keep reading that. Also, isn't there something we're supposed to do at start of session?
Yes, make your luck rolls.
All right. I will get right on that.
All right. Z, you can add 1d10 to your luck.
Hey.
All right. I have physical dice.
Ooh.
All right.
I would like to do physical dice for this, but me and D100s don't get along, either because they're the giant ones that are balls, or I can't figure out how to read the double dice.
All right. I got a 3.
Well, I think you pass, unfortunately. So you do not gain any luck.
Alas.
Because I assume you have more than 3 luck.
I don't know. Evie's pretty unlucky. She has 52 luck. That's half luck. You see, that's not very lucky at all.
Meanwhile, Nathan just keeps slowly getting more and more luck each session.
It's that luck of the Irish.
I am now above 75.
Damn.
Gonna hoard it
Okay.
until I eventually get to like 200 something luck.
Sorry, I'm holding my Call of Cthulhu book in my hands now. I'm so happy I have it. It's it makes
Precious.
me happy. Yes, precious. All right. So, you guys wake up bright and early. You see that Elaine, sweet Elaine, is not there. She did leave a note though. Um, it looks like she found some magazine of flyers about some boutiques that are downtown. But she left a note saying that she'll meet you all later, but she needs to fix her outfit because it's improper for her skirt to be torn. And yeah, she could wear another one, or she could get a new one. And she chose the latter.
Understandable. Have a
Mm-hmm.
nice day.
Exactly. Yeah, very understandable. So it's just the two of you. As you eat your morning breakfast, you drink your coffee. Same song and dance. The staff has figured out the little eccentricities that this group has, and they are prepared for your weird fucking requests.
Hmm.
Have they gotten fancy tea in?
They did, actually.
They just give the tea to Evie for Evie to
Mm-hmm.
make. Because it's like, we're never going to be able to fucking figure out how she wants it made. She's going to make it herself. Here's your tea bag, here's your hot water.
Yeah, they bring her like a little kettle with boiling water. The tea bag. It's in a very nice, fancy tray. It has everything you could possibly need for tea.
I think Evie is delighted by this. Um, and I think that upon seeing it, um, she looks down at the assemblage. Oh, have you realized that I'm the expert in this particular field? How delightful!
Nathan, you just see the most like hide the pain customer service smile and nod you've ever fucking seen.
Sympathetic look over the top of his coffee.
They just smile and nod and just gesture like, here you go. And they just back away.
Are you
Better if you
sure?
disagree.
Are you sure you don't want a cup, Mr. Chambers Keegan?
Just looks up from where he was making himself a little sandwich. Just looks at her for a long minute. Are you really gonna keep calling me that?
Evie just smirks. I'm allowed to have a little bit of fun occasionally.
You keep calling me that, I might as well just go take you to Mama and see how much she likes it.
Oh, I'm great with parents. It's because everybody else in my field is at least 20 years older than me.
You might think you're good with parents, but you ain't ever met one Mama. Born and bred Irish. Moved to a farm. Little outside your wheelhouse, man.
Evie, who is fixing this tea in the most posh fashion possible, which is a hell of a phrase to try and make yourself say, just picks up the cup, pinky out. You might have a point there, Nathan.
He just nods once and goes back to fixing himself a sandwich. So am I to take it that we're just gonna go ahead and go on to the house without laying around?
Well, we can't go wasting time. Well, we could. We'd be paid handsomely if we did. But it doesn't seem very ethical, does it?
Just brow raise. I even think that you knew that word.
Oh, I was required to take the course.
Ah, that makes sense. But I suppose it's like any of the other haunted, spooky things that we've talked about or run up against. Getting a start of it early in the day means we'll have a little bit of time to acquaint ourselves with the house before it does anything weird.
And you can set up all those delightful little ranger traps.
That's wholly dependent on whatever it is actually being able to set off a trap. What we can try, I suppose. Got any guesses as to what we might be dealing with?
Well, it's not a fish.
Snort.
Evie will finish, takes another long sip of her tea. Did What else did they bring her, Amy? Do a little, just conjure up a breakfast for us on the spot. Why don't you?
All right. Well, Nathan's got an assortment of different meats and sandwich toppings, including but not limited to egg and bacon and ham and like cheese and lots of butter. There is also some toast. There's a little bit of fruit in a little fruit salad cup. Um, so there's two portions. There's what also looks to be this very very thin what's the word for it? Crepe. It's
Yeah,
something
crepe is a
like that.
fancy pancake.
Yeah, fancy pancake, but less official, less French, more just really thin and elegant pancake. Not exactly a crepe. They've got along with your tea, whatever you want with your tea. They've got lemon, they've got cooking cream and milk, sugar. Looks like there's also got a little bit of coffee, and looks like they topped it off with just a couple glasses of orange juice.
Evie would never ruin her palate with orange juice before she has the tea, but she will have it after.
Meanwhile, Nathan is the barbarian that will like drink a few sips of like coffee, eat a couple bites of a sandwich, drink some orange juice, eat a couple bites of the sandwich. Two fisting drinks that do not mix, but he's gonna make them mix.
I like
All right.
that from breakfast you would assume that like Evie is the slightly more meticulous one, and that is not at all true.
Don't mind me as I found better map art,
A
so don't mind me while I furiously try and swap these really fucking quickly.
trying to. So we had the court records handout. Did we have something else? Because I know we got a little bit of information, but not a lot from the church place.
Yeah, you guys got some stuff.
I'm not finding it. Um, but Nathan will just kind of imagine eats his fill and just kind of leans back and is not watching Evie anymore. He's just kind of people watching around. And very clearly, like the gears have shifted from sleep to hunger to now he's processing the day. He's a simple man, one thing at a time.
Does he drink coffee or?
Yes, yes, he has a little bit of coffee with his breakfast. But as soon as the breakfast is done, he is done with his coffee.
Simple
Coffee
man.
is coffee is a breakfast thing. Once you are done with breakfast, no more coffee.
Meanwhile, I imagine Evie's on like her third or fourth cup of tea.
It's never enough for this woman.
I feel like she's one of those weirdly caffeinated people, but that might just be the academia.
Hmm.
It definitely is.
So, how much faith are you putting in the most recent tenets and all they're talking about needing weapons of the same type?
Oh, I put a great deal of stock in it. When you've been exposed to something like this, as you well know, you develop a bit of familiarity.
You
The
think that they
trouble
would be
is,
able to find a weapon like that?
that's the difficult part, isn't it? I wouldn't even know what manner of weapon we'd be looking at. Perhaps some unseen form of madness we could unleash upon it. And as she says that, Evie makes little wiggly hands underneath her chin.
There's just first a little frown, and he actually looks towards Evie, and then his brows slowly go up, and he does not say what comes to mind.
Have they already gotten to even Evie? I don't know. Have they? You can't prove it.
I personally think that getting something a little bit more physical that we can properly know if it's doing something might be a little bit better.
Well, you're a very physical chap. That does stand to reason. Are you thinking one of those shotguns?
The day when one of these things can just be poofed away by a shotgun is the day we don't have to go and investigate anything anymore.
Well, you did shoot that cultist once. He did go down.
Eh, yeah, but it didn't help none.
Admittedly, he did get back up. You're correct. But it wouldn't hurt, would it?
Yep. There's a reason why the gun's in my duffel bag for when we leave today.
Well, hmm. Nothing said anything about a weapon in any of these documents. I could try giving the book another read. Would you let
Nope.
me?
Mm-mm. That
Evie,
is last resort after we have gone and seen what we have to go and see.
well, all right. But it would make things quicker.
Thinking there might be if there's any stock in the body, perhaps being in the basement. A little bit of grave robbing might be in front of us.
That's an excellent point. Being buried with notable weaponry is a time honored tradition across the globe.
And perhaps maybe even something there that's making whatever this is stick around.
Some sort of locus. Evie is about to pour herself another cup of tea, looks at it, considers looks up at Nathan, looks down at the empty teacup, quietly moves it to the side.
He nods. Appropriate choice was made. Yeah, we have kind of acquired an iris. As soon as she finishes a chore.
Hmm.
Have we stalled long enough for your map?
Oh, yep. Just in time. I have it all done. Thank you very much. It's also very fun to listen to Nathan and Evie. It's always great. But, hmm. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. We can say that Elaine already went on her shopping, and when Iris returns, that's when she's going to burst into the scene after having a cabbie break so many laws. And any last minute things you guys wanted to acquire or get before you go to the allegedly haunted house?
I mean, you've pretty much said that aside from weapons,
Hmm.
like we can kind of hand wave a lot of things, right?
Yeah, aside from like specialty items. Yeah. So you can say that like if there was anything that's a bit unusual, you guys stop there first,
Yes,
and
I
you
have the
guys make your
first
way.
aid pack and I have aspirin. I don't know if that's gonna help any, but I do have 12 aspirin.
I've got my dissection kit for
Yep.
dissecting.
You guys got everything you need. You know, I I want to take a look at your fucking inventory. I want to see what the fuck you've got.
To me,
My inventory? I didn't put shit on there.
Oh, I meant Z because I know that like
I started to get a more detailed inventory, but then you're like, we can hand wave it, so I stopped.
oh, okay, because I know you told me that like yeah you know, but you want to be able to look at stuff. And I was
Yeah,
like, all
I
right.
still probably need to go back and add more things so that I can just have it and know that I have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have also entered into the same issue that I had with Weird of like, I know I should do this, but I'm not going to.
Do you want me to remind you at some point? I'll put it on my calendar for you, Z.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll put it in later. All right. So, you guys, if you need to get any last minute stuff, you go ahead and you yoink it on your way. Um, you guys arrived. Did you guys walk here or did you get a cab?
Depends on how far out our hotel is.
I'd say if you wanted to walk, it'd be about like 45 to an hour.
Mm,
It's not far, far, but it's a bit away from the hotel, more in the downtown area.
Probably cab then because Nathan would have like a rucksack of stuff.
Okay. Um,
Nathan is
you
geared
guys,
up, and I imagine he is also forced into carrying EVs as well.
Oh, 100%.
his only saving grace is that Elaine is not there, or else he'd have to carry her stuff too.
See, if Elaine is there in walking someplace, he will carry Elaine's shit, but then she has to carry Evie's shit because she is the assistant.
Fucking totem pole. Ah, all right. You guys make your way in front of the Corbett. Now, with see if I can do a little bit of a no, it won't let me. Roll 20. Why must you be like this? I just want the vibe, please.
Roll20 is the ornery grandpa of virtual tabletops. It just does things to be mean sometimes.
Yeah, like, bro, unnecessary. Fighting me and Okay, sorry, I have to redo a little fucking thing because fucking difficult for some fucking reason. Um, alright.
I just like
Uh,
like mental image of Nathan already having his stuff and just staring at Elaine, and Elaine like weighing her stuff and Evie's stuff to decide which stuff is lighter.
right? A choice must be made here. But alright. So, as the car pulls around into a street, there's a bit of a shift in the atmosphere, and it's it gets a bit darker. Actually, there's a bit of a cloud overcast that rolls in as you turn onto the street that you know is the right one. And you see that there's a bunch of tall buildings popping up around. It looks like this is a suburban area that's slowly trying to be taken over to be made into larger buildings. But you see there's still quite a few houses that are around, but you see that there's just one house that's on its own. It looks like the areas around it, where there were houses, have already been cleared away, demolished. And it looks like you can't really tell what they plan on making, but what you can tell is that this house, as the cab slowly pulls forward and comes to a stop right in front of it, you almost feel a chill up your spine as you step out of the car and the wind picks up, rustling some leaves in the nearby tree. The house itself, it isn't dilapidated. In fact, it just looks like a regular house. Yeah, the lawn's a bit out of control, but that's because no one's really lived here for a few months. And as the clouds get a bit thicker and the sun is blocked some more, and that wind feels even colder down your spine as you start walking up, you start to remember why the house is empty, what happened here, what could happen again. And as you walk up, all of you notice that the curtains are pulled. You can't see through the windows. Trying to duck in some more to look through them, you see that the windows are boarded from the inside, and the front door is locked.
Mm.
Do we have the key?
I
Were
was gonna
we
say,
given the key?
did we get a way in?
Yes, you guys are given keys. Who's got them?
Nathan.
Nathan.
Yeah, it was Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan. Mm.
Nathan is the responsible one of this group. Nathan knows where everything is.
All right. So, Nathan, you pull out the keys. You're given a single set of keys. But you do notice that from what you can see in the door, you see the signs. It looks like there are four additional bolts that were added to the door. And for a second, you think, oh no, I only have one key. But that's all you need. Only one of the locks were locked. The one on the door handle. Yeah. As
Can
you
he
all.
tell how old the other bolts are? Like, are they pretty recent all together, or they seem to have been added over time?
That's over time. You see, some are older. You see, there is one that's like newer, that's been added on, but the rest, there's like a scale of age that you can tell. You guys are all right here at the front door.
Whew. Giant
You
Nathan.
okay? Yeah. Alright, tell me, how is Nathan opening this door? Is it just any other door? Is he cautious at all? Does he fucking blow this shit open?
He's just for the front door and it being daytime. He's just opening it like normal, not like slamming it open, but like any other door that he would like unlock and just swing open.
Alright. So it swings open. There's a bit of a very, like, high pitched creak as it swings open, and the first thing that you're greeted with is a hallway that stretches all the way down, and at the very end, you see a set of stairs. You also see doorways lining the hallway on either end. The air inside is a bit stale, if you choose to step through. There isn't a lot of dust, but it is noticeable.
He just kind of looks down the hallway, a little unimpressed, and is just gonna pull out like I imagine he has like a scarf that he just has in general, because you never know when you're gonna be outside. It gets chilly.
Mhm.
He's just gonna go ahead and wrap it around his nose and his mouth.
Nathan plus scarf, quickly climbing the rankings for the shipping charts.
Alright, I demand to know, what color is the scarf?
It was probably really dark green originally, but now it has faded to kind of the sage color.
Mm,
It's old.
alright. You pull up the scarf to protect from the bits of dust that are in the air. Doesn't help the stale smell, though.
Does it
Breathe.
look sturdy in the house? Just in disrepair, or does it look? It's like the floor and the walls and the ceiling look sketch.
It doesn't look in disrepair. Um, it's only been a few months since the latest family is no longer living there. So, like, the grass is overgrown, but the house isn't in disrepair.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just, it hasn't been cleaned in a bit because no one's been here. And it hasn't been entered in a bit, so that's why the air is stale. As if no one else has breathed or moved in here in quite some time.
Hear the rapid clicking of heels behind.
I am here. So slightly breathing heavily.
Elaine, there you are, dear girl.
Did that shopping bug finally leave you?
I ran into somebody. That is all.
Oh boy.
It's nothing to worry about. I'm here now, so anything spooky? Kind of poking her head around to look into the house.
You
Nothing
just see a
yet.
hallway.
Just shrug off the bag that he was carrying for Evie and hands it over because he's not carrying it through the house. Let's just move to the first set of doors.
The ones on the right?
Yeah.
All right. Is anyone else following, or is it just Nathan going in?
I was gonna allow uh Evie to go first, but okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I hear a lot of knocking about the building, so I just want to make sure nobody's locked out.
Okay. In the meantime, I shall describe the room. So, the first door, as you open it, you see what appears to be a living room. You see that there is sofa, there's coffee table, there's a mantle. It's got a radio, there's stuffed chairs with plush pillows on it. However, there's something that you just can't help but notice is that there is a lot of Catholic artifacts and images of the Virgin Mary and crosses strewn about the room. Like an unusual amount. You can count at least 10, probably more if you look further, in this one room.
Damn.
Nathan's gonna kind of like pause, look around. Yeah, he's gonna make his way because you said all the curtains were closed. He's gonna make his way around
Mm
the room first, opening
hmm.
all the curtains.
Mm hmm.
So there's
as
light.
you, yeah, as you light up the area, opening all the curtains, sunlight starts to peek through, but every single window is boarded from the inside. So it's not a lot of light, but there is some.
And you just see Nathan kind of put his hands on his hips for a second as he's like staring at this.
Mm
Just, these folks really did think they're going to war for something, aren't they?
hmm. Do you turn on the lights at all, or?
Well, if he's near
Elaine
a
will.
switch, he will flick it.
Yeah, it's like by the door. Flick the switch on. Place is illuminated. So you don't need the windows, but no, you're right. Every single window, in this room at least, from what you've seen, boarded, nail and wood, boarded shut.
Hello, I'm back.
Literally,
Hello.
we entered into Catholic
Bubba.
hell.
Catholic hell?
Mm.
Yep.
The Virgin Mary and a whole bunch of crosses have been thrown around this room, and there's like 12
And
of them.
Herod?
Yeah, this is Anghar's living room.
I ain't carried out of
Like
that thing.
legit.
I imagine Nathan will go and like inspect the Virgin Mary statue,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's still in one piece, he's gonna pick it up and try to put it somewhere unobtrusive but upright.
Yeah, you pick it up. It's still in one piece. You see there's a very thin layer of dust. You see that there are actually fingerprints. And as if someone's been like, sorry, not fingerprints. It looks well worn, as if someone's been holding it a lot, especially around the base. Kind of like where your hand naturally goes to hold it. But you can easily pick it up and put it upright. Place it somewhere you know none of them will walk through, so it's not in any of your way. But as you place it, there's just this little thud as it clicks against the wood. And all three of you hear static, loud, from the radio in the corner. It got turned on. And it's really loud. You can't really make out any words or music. All you hear is just this static with clipping cutting through randomly.
Where's the radio?
What there?
Elaine will go over to it.
Nathan just like pauses, looks over his shoulder, picks the statue back up. Is there any change?
The radio's on. Yeah, it's still on.
Puts it back down. Taps his shoe on the floor a few times.
Elaine will try and change the stations on it.
Yeah, you can go ahead and change the stations. There's like a little dial knob that you have to really be really finicky with because it looks like it's well used. It even feels a little broken.
Hmm.
So it takes a little bit of effort. But you can change the station. But it doesn't matter how much you fine tune it. The station, whatever you're trying to put on, it's never crystal clear. There's always this like underlying static and this weird clipping and clicking that happens, cutting it in and out randomly.
Oh, she tried to turn it off.
Right?
Hold on.
You turn.
Before she turns it off,
Oh,
Oh.
Nathan's gonna wander over, pick up one of the smaller crosses, and just put it on top of the radio. Does that change anything?
No. Hold on one sec. Oh, wait, I can't do that. Shit. Give me a second. Hold on. I accidentally killed my stream.
This is Nathan in haunted houses. Nathan is like the I'm gonna put this on here and see what happens. Gonna pick it back up, put it back down.
Mm. And you don't notice anything different. The radio is just on, and after Elaine tries changing the channel, there's no luck. There's still this weird interference in it. Putting the cross on it doesn't really do anything. It's still on.
Well, that's something, I guess.
would it be? What, like, we're all paranormal investigators, essentially, right?
Yes.
So it's not out of the question to be like, radios are how spirits communicate, right? To assume that.
This early on?
I don't think that's. Hold on.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
When were radios
I don't think
invented?
handheld radios are a thing yet.
Yeah. 19th century.
When were
I
radios a household item?
Yeah. So it's not handheld. You can't really move it. It's stationary.
Oh,
So uh, when was the 19th? What century was the 19th century again?
1800s.
Yeah, 1800s.
Okay. I will say that because all of you are paranormal investigators, you could have a like theory on that. You maybe heard a tale or two in your research or read somewhere obscure that maybe this could work. However, the technology isn't there yet. You
okay.
don't have anything handheld you could bring with you or move room to room at all. The best you could possibly do is this a radio that's there in one spot.
Well, it wasn't necessarily meant for. I wasn't trying to ask for like a handheld. I was just say like,
Mhm.
would it be weird to start talking to the radio? Is essentially the theory here.
Well, the answer to that question is both yes and a no. Yes, it would be weird for you to start talking to the radio. However, this is a very weird situation. Um, what's Elaine's skill in like occult?
It is very high. Let me
Okay.
open it up.
Roll me an occult check.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's 75.
And
Normal?
what'd you get?
Normal roll, correct?
Success?
I'm saying roll normally.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, oh,
Wow. You have
ouch,
got to be kidding me.
ouch.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Okay. So I will say that Elaine has heard of this maybe, but there's like no credible shit on it.
Mm,
You haven't read anything that's personally worked. So in theory, yeah, but why bother if it probably doesn't work?
mm.
It doesn't hurt. If you want to, you could, but like why?
I mean, if that's the case, like, gonna again turn it off if
All
it's
right.
being loud and it's not clearing up any.
You turn it off. And as you turn it off, the silence is almost deafening. You guys didn't realize how much that static was just filling your ear and the silence that the house is in. And once that static is gone, there's just a moment where everything is just still. And the only thing you can hear is your own breathing, maybe even a sigh of relief that the obtrusive noise is no longer on. Until all three of you hear a very loud bang, as if something heavy fell on the floor upstairs.
And Ethan just kind of slowly looks up and without
Really.
saying any words will unzip the bag that he has and out comes the shillelagh.
All right.
Elaine will
Yeah.
move closer to Nathan.
Bring out the shillelagh. But other than that loud bang that you can almost feel shake the walls, nothing else. Silence. You can see the into the next room, by the way. There's no doorway there, so once you're in here, you can all of you can very plainly see that the next connecting room is a dining room. And it's got this long mahogany table. It's got a built-in sideboard that houses a lamp and a couple other little personal knickknacks. What does draw your attention, though, is that there's three seats that are set. They're not used. And there's this not pleasant smell coming from the pot on the other end of the table.
And specifically 3 seats.
Three seats are set. There are three seats that are not set.
Because the family that lived here beforehand had 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
You see Ethan kind of like stare at the table for a second, kind of blinks, and lift his free hand, and you see him get 1, 2, 3. What there? 2 kids and the parents.
I believe
The
so.
table is not set then, for example.
Well, that's it for the family. Is there dust on the table setting as well?
Mm-hmm. Very, very light, thin layer. And as you step closer, that unpleasant smell gets a lot more unpleasant. It smells like rotting food coming from the other end of the table.
pick up one of the plates and walk over here, and we're gonna put one of the plates on top of the pot.
You see, it looks like this rotting rice soup stew situation that they've got going on in there. Not touched in the slightest. Looks like not a single serving was even taken out of it. But it smells absolutely terrible. See, the soup has coagulated, it's evaporated most of the liquid, so it's mostly sludge at this
Yep, just put that plate right on top so that maybe it dampens some of the smell.
point. It goes from smelling bad around the table to smelling that same level of unpleasant. It's a bit more manageable now. None of you feel that need of nausea rising up in your throats anymore. But you know what's in there, and you know that's just gross.
Let's see here. What do I have?
So, is everybody given the same portion here?
None of it's served. It's empty plates.
Empty, okay.
hmm
Would we be able to deduce by settings? Are these like all adult settings?
You see that there are two smaller settings. The plates are all the same size, but you see that the fork and spoons are a bit smaller. Not the full size, but there's one adult set.
So that means it's one of the parents that's missing.
hmm
Probably for the mother and the kids. Because she was the last one that was here, right?
I think so.
Yes, I will remind you. The father went to the asylum before the mother did. She followed a month or two after.
They did not have much time to clean up.
What would chase you out of your house right before you're about to serve dinner to your own children, though? I forgot that I can do this. Can Nathan just kind of pause and like tilt his head up? Because there's the bang from upstairs. And he
hmm
does have a really high listen score.
Yeah, you can go ahead and listen. Roll me listen.
I say really high. It's not that high, but maybe.
Whew.
Almost. You know what? Fucking. I'll spend one luck to make it an extreme success.
Okay. All right, Nathan, you take a sec. And it takes you a moment to like recalibrate because you've changed position since you've heard the sound. But you're remembering how it echoed, how you felt the vibrations in the wood and the wall next to you when the bang happened. It sounds like something decently heavy, approximately like 20-ish pounds, 20 to 30, and really solid, hit the ground upstairs. And you get the feeling it is, in fact, in. Hold on. Let me double check this before I give you the wrong information. Okay. It's in the room equivalent to over here, upstairs, in this area. So you know the exact room the sound came from. It's the first one you'll come across when you go upstairs.
I think Nathan is more interested in trying to do a sweep than a full investigation, at least initially. So, with the pot covered, he'll continue and kind of edge the curtains aside with the shillelagh.
All right. So here, it's very simply a kitchen. You see, it's a conventional kitchen. It's got an ice box, it's got a wood fed stove, it's got an oven. You see a larder with, decent amount of supplies. A lot of it's rotted. You even see rat droppings near where you knew that was a fresh fruit basket. That's where they kept their potatoes. You just see evidence of pests eating it, whether it's bugs or mice. You don't see any signs of them now, but anything that was fresh is gone. The only things left that you can see are soup, canned soup. You see rice that are in solid containers they couldn't get through. You even see some bottles of wine hung up on a little rack. It's not many. You also see that there is, in fact, a little fuse box on the wall. And it looks like this kitchen was in the middle of, or from what you can deduce, this was right after she cooked dinner. Everything is still in its place. You still see the pot that was used to cook the soup on the stove. A lot of the utensils used to cut up the vegetables and stir are on the counter still. You still see some dishes sitting in there. She was going to do them after dinner. It's very clear that whatever happened here happened so quickly and suddenly, and you even see a half full glass of wine. It's even got lipstick smudges on it. She didn't even finish her glass.
You said there's a fuse box on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Ethan just kind of lets out a little whistle and shakes his head. He's going to walk over to wherever the fuse box is. We'll just put him over here. He's just going to open that real quick to check on it.
Hmm. Yeah. You see everything looks in order. You're not a mechanic. You're not an engineer or electrician, but switch is turned on. Looks good.
Go ahead and open this door back out into the hallway. Look down the hallway again. Look at the stairs. Look over his shoulder at the ladies.
Elaine is watching from a distance.
Anything troubling?
Other than something's moving in this house, ain't supposed to be moving other than us.
That's mundane by our standards. If that's the worst we have to worry about, it might be a particularly
No. He shakes the shillelagh at her. You are the one that gets to run. I am the one that has to deal with whatever it is.
You could also run.
No offense meant, Dr. Chambers. If I start running, I'm a little bit faster than you. And it's your problem.
Evie actually laughs at that. I do have to get my cardio in, don't I?
Oh my god.
Just that
Oh,
Nathan 100% certain that if he starts running from things, both Evie and Ellie are going to end up eaten. Yes, I think so.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I'm just asking.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No reason at all.
No reason. I'm assuming Nathan and Evie are facing each other, right?
Yeah, they're talking.
Kind
Yeah.
of like Nathan's like not like back to the door fully, but like standing sideways.
Yeah. Elaine, which way are you facing?
She's facing into the kitchen, kind of like standing. So it's open, so you can see through it, but she's standing like to the side, and like I guess it would be like this kind of thing, but peeking her head in.
Okay. So while you're watching this exchange back and forth, it's, you remember, yes, Nathan and Evie. Even though
Best
this
buds.
house is creepy as fuck, some things don't change.
Yep.
And how is she standing? Like you said, she's leaning against the wall?
Technically, it should be facing this way,
Mm-hmm.
with her shoulder against the wall and her head facing this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does she have any nervous? Does she like tap her foot? Does she fiddle with anything?
Mm, no, I mean maybe she's holding on to like the hem of her shirt a bit or something like that.
Hmm.
A little uneasy by the noise.
Yeah. Okay. You said the hem of her skirt or her shirt?
Shirt.
Okay. Well, well, the two of them are having their back and forth, and you're holding on to the hem of your shirt. There's some comfort in their little bickering slash squabbling slash whatever the fuck that is. Friendly camaraderie, maybe. It's something very unique. But you shift a bit, and you feel like your skirt feels a bit heavier than normal.
Mm?
And as you look down to investigate, what color is your skirt?
It's a very pretty blue, like a dark blue, navy kind of blue.
Yeah, you notice that your skirt looks darker. It almost looks purple,
Huh?
and it's heavier. A lot heavier. You feel the weight as you stand up from leaning against the wall and you look downwards. And as you like shift a bit, you notice the ground is red. You turn your head to the left. You see that pot of soup is also red. You see a red liquid. What you can now assume to be blood is overflowing out of it, spilling onto the table, onto the chairs, onto the floor. It's gone all over your shoes, on your socks. It's gotten the end of your skirt and looks like the blood soaked all the way up your skirt, up to your waist. I want you to roll
What?
me a sanity check.
What? Sanity.
Hey.
You're going to be losing one sanity.
Mm, mm.
How does she react to this?
It it takes a slight second to realize what's going on because it's like a no that's not right. It shouldn't. How is it up my skirt? Like it shouldn't be this high. Like that kind of thing. And he literally jumped. Like, is this an exit by the way?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, she jumps into the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
and is like looking down. Like she doesn't want to touch her skirt, but like instinctively she kind of like brush it off, and she yelps and is like a little panicked.
Nathan and Evie, you see Elaine yelp and jump into the kitchen. She looks frantic, panic. She looks back, and the two of you don't see anything. Elaine, you look, and nothing's there. Everything's normal. Nothing's wrong.
Kind of looking down again, looking at her hands and her skirt and whatnot, double checking that the pot is not overflowing again.
Nope, it's even still got the plate Nathan put on it.
She turns to the other two, looking a bit sheepish and embarrassed.
Imagine
But
when she yelped and jumped in, Nathan like immediately straightened up and like took like a half step forward. But as she seems to calm a little bit, he kind of tilts his head. Seeing funny things then.
She's trying to calm down. She, for the most part, is calm, but like there's still that little bit of like when right after you're spooked, a bit of adrenaline, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a moment?
No, no, I am fine. I just she moves kind of closer like between the two of you essentially, so she can see you and not over here by herself. Hey, cat!
Nesmini also doesn't want you to be alone.
Thank you, thank you. I love you, but you can't sit on my computer, okay? Oh yes, purr. Okay.
Nathan just kind of looks over Elaine as she moves. What exactly were you seeing there?
So was a lot of blood.
A lot of blood, like somebody just got hurt blood, or a lot of blood in the a bit more extreme manner.
Soon I was covered to here. And she like essentially goes to like her waist.
Ah, that's fun.
Whatever may be here seems to play tricks on us. Hmm?
Eh?
Cody's hopping off.
Oh,
Oh,
That could it.
that could it. If it's a tricksy sort of creature, well, perhaps we won't have to bash it in the head with a shillelagh. Perhaps we can reason with it.
Nathan still was kind of looking at Elaine, trying to wait for the jitters to go away for her before he does anything. And
hmm.
Evie says that, and you kind of get this like rolled eyes, like look, side eye.
Well, we've got to find our hope where we can.
I would pay good money to find one of these things that's actually reasonable.
Supposedly in mythology, that is not uh, uncommon.
Yeah,
There,
we
you
ain't found
see?
none of that from the mythology. All we've been finding is the things that want to eat us.
But there's precedent.
Kind of points to Evie.
Neither you know if that precedent is just the what would you call it? Optimism.
Well, it might be a bit optimistic, but whatever gets us through this little house,
And he just shakes his head and like points between the two of you. Stay in arm's reach, at least of each other.
Evie leans over to Elaine and whispers, "Do you think it's some sort of Catholic thing?"
Perhaps it is more of a inexperience thing.
Oh no, he's plenty experienced.
I mean more on the academic level.
Oh, what? Hmm. I suppose we could give him the papers.
Do you think he would read them?
He has been reading quite a bit lately. Did you see him in the library?
Oh, that is true.
Mutter, mutter, whisper, whisper. He's tired of this and moves on.
You hear a lot of he's.
Do we want to try and go through the entirety of the first floor or go ahead and go chase the noise?
I feel like, I don't know. My personal inkling is to clear the first floor and then go see the noise, but I could definitely see the other argument too, so I'm okay either way.
I say it's safer to check the floor.
Has Nathan happened to hear any other noises since?
Nope. Nothing since what Elaine saw.
Okay, we'll go check this door.
No one.
Yeah.
Give me a quick second. I need to use the bathroom.
All right. You see what looks to be a mudroom. You see coats. You see hats, umbrellas. You see there are several bags full of coal. You notice that there is a back door or a side door, and you do see that it's bolted with 3 bolts and 2 locks,
We're gonna go
and
over
all of
there,
those are locked.
unlock all of them,
Hmm.
and, for good measure. Because if a creepy hobo man comes in here, Nathan can handle a creepy hobo man. But we're just gonna go ahead and open that side door and like shove a piece of coal in it to keep it open.
Okay. Go ahead, take out a piece of coal. You put it in the door. You jam it in to make sure that this thing is not going to latch, even if someone throws their entire weight against it, unless they think to take out the piece of coal first. And no, you just see a normal family mudroom. See shoes. You even see some outside toys that are placed out here. You see muddy boots, a couple of toy cars that have seen better days are in a little bucket by the door. Looks like they planned on cleaning those.
Just kind of stares at some of the toys for a second before he starts moving back towards the hallway. Oh, maybe it might be worth trying to get the address of where the kids are at, sending them some of their stuff.
Evie nods. That is a good idea. She opens the bag that Elaine is still holding and starts packing away some of the children's things.
They're muddy. At least the ones in this room. So either, gotta clean them or just deal with the mud.
I think she'll deal with the mud and wash them off a place that is not here.
Okay? And you put them in the bag. I imagine you try to at least shake off some of the mud. But, some of your things are gonna get muddy, but, that's the price. Assume you're going through this next door?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that this one is, you'd probably guess it to be a storage room. You don't really see anything except some wood, looks like some broken furniture. Um, so there's like a little pile of some of the splintered wood that's been broken off. It's a pretty neat pile. You can probably guess that they're using old furniture for firewood, and this is where they stored it.
If Nathan goes poking, could Nathan maybe figure out what broke the larger pieces of furniture? Like if there's like any weird scratches or anything on any of it?
You can try. Do you want to use a particular skill or argue for one? Otherwise, it'd be spot hidden.
Spot hidden's fine.
Alright, you go ahead and roll.
See, I said it that way and I'm probably gonna fail this one. Yep.
Shit's broken. You can't really tell. It might have been through natural wear and tear. It might have been an accident. It might have been all of the above and then some. You can tell that it's like varying ages. Some of these look a lot older than others. But you just see a pile of broken shit.
Why is Nathan like this?
What's he gonna do?
He's fucking no. It's just I'm looking at his roles and thinking about his roles historically. The things he
Ah.
should not pass, he passes for somehow. The
Oh
things he
boy.
should pass, he does not.
Ooh, save up that luck is all I can say.
I just remembered I needed to mark listen as past. Anything? I don't think I've rolled anything else this session. Okay. Then we're just gonna keep going down the hallway and open this last door.
Alright. Opening this last door, you see another storage room, but this one doesn't look like it's used for housing broken furniture. You see that it's used for actual storage. You see it's filled with boxes, other assorted. Even see what looks like a rusted water tank and a couple of old bicycles in the corner. You also see what looks to be an old cupboard. It's also boarded shut.
Well, last time we saw a cupboard, it did have some neat things in it. We're gonna try and yank that cupboard open.
All right, roll me a strength, straight strength.
8.
All right, describe to me. How's you just fucking rip this shit open?
I imagine he like kind of looks at it and tries to figure out where there's a little bit of looseness from where it's boarded up. And he doesn't just like bare hand rip it. He like shoves the end of the shillelagh into it and pries it open. And
I'm
then
back.
finishes ripping it.
All right. So, I assume Elaine and Evie have both caught up to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Evie is now the proud, temporary owner of a bunch of toys.
She would love that.
Mm. But I imagine you all peek in just in time to see Nathan just rip the wood off before opening the cupboard. And inside, there's not much, except for 3 bound books sitting on the only shelf in the cupboard.
Nathan just stares at it for a second and tilts his head.
Evie's already heading there.
Why? Why is all the weird shit always just in books?
Because it's the easiest way to transmit knowledge in case you get gobbled up by a tentacled aberration.
he just kind of shakes his head slightly. He will pick up the books before Evie can grab them, and he will at least scan the covers. And if any of them look anything like the book that he put in the safe, she doesn't get the book. Not right now.
You see that these look like journals.
Here's one
They're
for
okay.
you, and here's one for you.
You
Who wants the last one? Fight over it.
I imagine that when Nathan is looking it over, he like picks the book up and it's like over Evie's head, and that like 7 inches between them like really comes into play.
you would see, Nathan, if you're doing a little TSA check before you hand it over. You do
Exactly.
see, yeah, there's nothing on the cover, but opening it up, looking on the inside cover, you see that it looks like these belong to a Mr. W. Corbett.
And just like hands the first one to Evie. Looks like we found the journals of the old owner, the original owner. Scans the second one, hands it to Elaine.
Read.
Everybody speed read, speed read.
You guys can flip through it. These are all handwritten. They're in English. Um, it's 3 volumes. It looks like uh, these are called. These are going to be called, for keeping track of stuff. These are going to be called the Corbett Diaries. There are 3 volumes. It will take a couple of days to read them, but you see that it looks like personal diary entries of Mr. Corbett.
Can we control F for weapons in here? With our eyes, gods control F?
Spot hidden, maybe?
What are you looking for?
For the word weapon?
Uh,
Roll a spot hidden, maybe?
you can. Let me look at the fucking skill list here.
Spot hidden power.
Hand them to Nathan and see if he magically can continue with library use.
I was gonna
The track
say,
record of passing.
if he wants to even try, it would be either a library use or. No, just library use.
Let's go!
Or English.
I think my library use is higher than my English. Let me look.
Your language owned is gonna be equal to your education.
What the fuck's my. Oh! Oh, education's way better. Holy shit, okay.
Because this isn't English, however, sometimes there are some odd phrasing and sentence structure used, so it's a little difficult.
Hey.
I want to do this just to see. I know it will not count. Okay. I'm satisfied.
So you said library use or English, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, library use.
Alright. Amy, above table, is it worth spending 9 luck on this?
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 47 and I can get a hard success with the 36.
I mean, it will get you more, but I will say it's not necessary.
How you guys feeling? You want more?
More is good.
Okay.
I will say,
Donate to the luck.
nope. You
Fucking-
cannot share luck. I will say that, like, you won't be getting a lot more, but maybe a tiny bit.
Yeah, okay. I'll spend it. I'll spend 9 luck on that.
Okay, so a hard success.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you give the first entry to Elaine, right? The first volume. Not Elaine, Evie.
Yes, first volume to Evie, second volume
Mhm.
to Elaine, and then it's just like, I guess he was just like doing the TSA check while they were skimming through the first 2 books.
Yeah. By the time Nathan, you finished your TSA check. You've already found it. And Elaine, oh, you also got a success.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right. So, I'll start with Elaine. You do see mentions of a weapon of sorts. You see that he wrote about having a tool that he used very frequently. It's referenced in a lot of these entries, whether it was acquiring it, whether it was using it for something, or just mentioning it offhandedly. It's mentioned a lot. So, confirmation there is, in fact, a weapon. Evie, what you find in that first journal is what looks to be a very, very crude and rough sketch. You find a sketch of what looks to be a old knife. You see that the blade isn't exactly a dagger per se. Um, there's no curve to it, or at least not one that looks on purpose. You do see that the handle, though, it looks like it's very ornate. You can't get too much detail out of it, but you know that it's a knife. And from what you're reading here, it's hinted. Something's hinted about this. Something special about it. Something that you get the feeling is very dangerous. But it would take you a lot more time to figure out exactly what it is. But it's easy to say that the knife is not exactly good to be around. In fact, it's very bad to be around. Some would say dangerous.
Well, Nathan, I've got good news and bad news.
Just the slightest cringe.
That's what I thought. Bad news coming up. We don't want to be around the knife. It's a very bad knife. Good news is there is a knife. Evie will turn the book around and show off the knife.
It is also something he used quite frequently. Flip pages show.
This is
Nathan's kind
highlighting the word knife.
of leans forward a little bit, inspecting the diagram. Just takes a slow breath. Okay. Find the knife. Make use of the knife very quickly. Burn the knife.
I don't know about burning.
Yes,
Perhaps.
we are burning the knife.
Well, do you think that'll get rid of it?
That's why I said use the knife first.
But do you think the fire will burn hot enough?
I will go back home to a blacksmith I know and just yeet it into the furnace.
You see? Nathan, is that some sort of Gaelic word?
Yes.
It's canon now.
Curious. Yeet. There's a certain satisfaction to it.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute.
Be killed, Iris.
It's canon now. This is now lore. This is what happened. This is how yeet was originated.
Nathan didn't want to admit it was not a Gaelic word. Admit it's not a Gaelic word to draw 20.
Because that means I get to continue to use yeet.
it's one thing to hear Nathan say it, but then freaking Evie. Just it's like not what is it? Like almost sounding out the word is what made it so great.
Yeet.
Well, now that we know what we're looking for, that makes things a little bit easier, doesn't it? Any dreadfully auraed knives?
Does it look like a I know it's he says like not like a machete or anything like that, but is it like kitchen knife or is it like kind of standard like tool belt knife?
I have a picture. Hold on. Uh,
I don't suppose we want to be lucky enough that it will be in the kitchen.
Well, no, once I see a picture. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's not going to be in the kitchen. I think they would have noticed an eyeball staring at them from the knife rack.
yep.
Nathan just shakes his head. I'm pretty sure that we would have taken notice of something that looks like that in the kitchen. He just kind of glances around the supply room. Is there anything else that looks particularly out of place or interesting in this like storage room area?
Not necessarily. We do see some boxes that are they kind of look like newer storage, not as old as the cupboard that you got the books out of or the books themselves. So you can come to the conclusion that those storage boxes are not from Mr. Corbett. You see a couple of bicycles that are kept in here, varying sizes. Other than that, nope, nothing.
So we can
Can
come back to this room if we think there might be something else of historical nature that we need to find. But second that, Nathan's gonna start walking. Where are you going, Elaine?
I was gonna say, can I peek back into this room to see if anything changed?
Yes, yes, you can.
I don't. Am I the only one that heard that smile? Is that
I
just
heard
me?
it too. I heard it too.
Okay, okay.
So you peek back. Um, how observant is Elaine?
Pretty observant, I'd say. Let's see what is that the stat? Because I assume that's a stat. Is that a
Hold on.
stat?
Give me a second. Okay, um, so what were you saying?
I said she was. I assume she's pretty observant. I don't know if that's an actual stat or
Let
that
me
I'm
look at her
trying to
sheet.
find.
Wait.
I think observation is split between spot hidden and listen
Yeah, let me
in the
see. Let
system.
me see. She's got 33, and then her list is okay. So a little less than average, but her int is average. Her education. She's pretty smart, right?
He.
She's smart enough to look in the room too. So
Mm-hmm.
you peek your head. It's like a quick glance.
Yeah, just like nothing's changed, right?
You give a quick glance, and I imagine the first thing you try to look for is blood, right?
Yeah, and also the statue. To be
Hmm.
honest.
Yeah. You see that the statue has, in fact, shifted. Nathan put it somewhere. It looks like it's been shifted forward. And you notice all of the crosses have been turned upside down.
Oh. Uh, oh.
And the statue's been shifted to be right in front of the fireplace. There's no fire there. No one started one. But that's where it's sitting.
Is it
Not
facing the fireplace or facing outward?
facing the fire.
Elaine's gonna look away and
Sanity check.
double check. Fuck. Oh, I thought I marked this down. Hang on. It's supposed to be one less. There we go.
Only one.
I'm saying, guys, I'm good.
You keep
Mhm.
being the only one that starts looking at stuff. You're not going to be sane for much longer, though.
I just thought it was a smart idea just to make sure nothing shifted.
It was a very smart idea.
It was a very smart idea.
This is why you lose your sanity for having the smart ideas.
Double check. It wasn't just a hallucination, right? Or was it?
You blink, it's still there. The changes are still there.
Ah, well, that is very, very unsettling.
Kind of pauses, looks back at Elaine.
It is nothing. Just the cross is upside down, and the statue has moved.
Oh, that's not too terrible. Elaine, I have told you, you need to keep your wits about you in situations like this. It's important to keep your eyes focused on one thing at a time. If you let them wander, that's when you start seeing things at the corners of them, wriggling things.
But this was not the corner of my eye.
But you were looking at the whole room, no?
I yes.
Evie will walk over, pat Elaine on the back. Narrow focus, narrow.
Hmm. She puts her hand to her chin and nods in a okay, right now. Thank
Are you
you
sure
for
you
the
did?
advice.
Of course. Do you need some time outside?
No, no. We have more to look for.
Nathan just looks a little grumpier, but he doesn't say anything.
Mm. And if you guys peek in, you also see exactly what she saw. Those changes were real. They're still there.
Nathan
What?
doesn't want to peek in because then he's going to be compelled to go in there and fix it, and it's gonna mess up again, and that's just going to make him grumpier.
So, Nathan, you start walking towards the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the marching order?
I don't like that you're asking that. Actually, Evie will go behind Elaine because Elaine's been spooked, so she'll take the back.
Aw. I was actually gonna say if they're side by side, because I mean the hall's big
Like
enough,
arm in
right?
arm?
Yeah, arm in arm makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I'm good
You
with
guys can
that.
go arm in arm?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll move closer, but yeah.
Alright. So,
Buddies.
Nathan, you're leading this. And when you get around here, you feel a drop hit the top of your head.
You pause, reach a hand up to touch the drop, and look
There's
at
an,
his hand.
another one falls on Nathan's foot. Looks at his hand. It's blood. You see a growing red spot on the ceiling as another drop to fall.
Just moves out of the way to the side of the hallway, just kind of peering at the ceiling. Y'all
Will
seeing
be a
this too?
sanity check for Nathan. And no, y'all don't see shit.
This is not gonna be good. I don't have a lot of sanity. It's good.
He's
Just
fine.
losing, just losing one.
He just nods a little bit when he hears the negative. Oh, well, this place lacks blood an awful lot. Just keeps walking. And I see a door in the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Just for good measure, he's probably instinctively took off the hat he normally wears when he entered the building. The hat's going back on the head again. If he can
Mm-hmm.
ignore things, he's going to ignore things.
As you put the hat back on, you see your hand doesn't have that stain of red on it anymore.
Is the door able to be opened?
The door. You see that it has a lock and three bolts, but it's not locked. It's able to be opened from your side.
Swing that sucker open. I'm assuming this is the stairs to the basement.
You said you're opening it, right?
Yes.
You would be correct.
Kind of looks up and then looks down and then looks up again. Towards the basement where there may or may not be a dead body in a grave, or towards the second floor where there most definitely was a noise.
At the
I
men-
say,
Sorry, at the mention of this, you hear the slamming of a door upstairs.
We're getting to you, goddammit.
as Nathan says that, Evie chases it like midway as he's finishing, the overlapping. Terribly rude, aren't you?
If you would stop trying to spook us, we would get to you sooner.
The Call of Cthulhu party gets on Phasmophobia and calls the ghost a bitch.
They would, though. They really would.
Here you go, Amy. You wanted the extra spooky game, and you get these three fuckers.
No, no, this is great. This is fucking amazing.
What were you saying, Doctor, before you were interrupted?
I say, they continental manners really aren't what they should be. As I was saying, we should tend to the living first.
And Nathan just nods and heads up the stairs.
Evie will follow behind.
All right. I'm assuming Elaine's going up as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
best friends die together, you know?
Yep. You guys come up over here.
So the implication from the sound, because of how this is made, it would be in this room, right?
No, this one.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nathan just kind of peers down the hallway. Is there any disturbance of the dust in the floor or anything that he can see?
You. Hmm. Roll me a luck check. I'm gonna turn off it.
No. Delete it.
The
Let me
grid.
drag it on because I can't move it now.
Oh, fucking. Hold on. Hold.
Done.
Alright. Elaine, Evie, put your tokens on.
Oh,
All right.
sorry.
It's okay.
I almost grabbed Evie's token.
Okay. Hard success. Okay. So the hard success, like, it's very, very hard to tell. But Nathan, this ain't your first rodeo, you know? You're an experienced ranger. You know how to look for tracks. And dust on a hardwood floor, if you get more familiar with it, it's not all that different from loose dirt. So you know all the tricks. You tilt, you use the little bits of sunlight that are peeking through the windows. And you see tracks right here. Essentially leading from your stairwell, where you guys came from, into the room. There are some footsteps. Looks like there's some dragging marks of something larger. But something very, very light has disturbed the dust.
Imagine Nathan kind of like pauses on the landing and kind of like leans forward a little bit, tilts his head, and then straightens up very slowly, looks back to the others with a finger over his lips and the kind of shush gesture, and will move as quietly as he can manage over to the store.
Alright. You. I assume you open it.
Yeah, once he is satisfied that Evie and Ellie have stopped moving, he'll swing the door open, slowly, very firmly grasped in one hand.
You see a room. It's very sparse. There's nothing much in it. You see a bed frame with bare bed springs. You see a dresser. It doesn't look like it's been used in a long time, but it looks about as well kept as the rest of the house.
Can he kind of crouch down and see if he can spot any other movement in the dust?
Mm-hmm. With that hard success, I'll let you keep that roll. And you see that this continues all the way to the window.
He will kind of imagine. Does the door swing in or out?
In.
He just kind of takes a moment and nods and will slowly make his way in and follow the tracks to the window.
Don't do it.
Oh, do you stop him?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What's Elaine do?
Uh, as he gets closer to the window, she'll like. Are we trying to be sneaky here?
I mean, he is moving as quietly as he can.
Okay, I'm gonna roll. What was that? That's an 18. Yeah, she'll say, "No, no, no! Don't go near the window," and like grab his arm.
Kind of lets her grab his arm and looks at her.
How close did he get to the window? Like I imagine his token was right at it when she pulls him away, right?
Well, if she immediately rushes after him, I imagine that's where he ends up.
Oh yeah, I meant like he was here, then she pulls him forward, right? Or pulls him back,
Yeah,
right?
that's how I imagined at least.
Yeah. Because I don't think she knew you were going to the window until you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
So,
maybe here.
Elaine, you get pulled back by Elaine. Or Nathan, you get pulled back by Elaine. Just in time for the bed frame that was sitting in the room to launch forward towards the window, shattering the glass.
Like, end of the bed frame out the window, or like smash flat against the wall and window?
Smash flat against the wall and window. Nathan, I'd like you to roll me a dodge, and I want everyone to roll me sanity. You're gonna get a bonus from Elaine helping you by pulling you.
A bonus?
Evie
That's
is
sanity.
fine.
Number of dice?
Uh, two? I guess. I think it's two. Extreme success. God damn.
Go with Elaine.
2d10, keep one. Eh.
Okay. So, you're able to successfully dodge all of the shattered glass that flies into the room on impact and out the window, and any of the spare uh, broken bed springs that could have sliced you on your way or on its way to the window. You're able to dodge all of that. However, Elaine and Evie are both going to lose one sanity. Nathan, you are going to be losing four because something about this strikes a chord in you. This creature, this ghost, this was waiting for you. That was a trap that you almost walked right into. This was an ambush. And you get this feeling right up your spine. And you just have one question on your mind. Are you guys investigating? Or are you all being hunted? Are you being hunted again?
just kind of pauses where he is and just kind of stares at the window for a second. And then kind of reaches over, pats Elaine's head. Yeah, thank you for that one. You could.
You always get on to us for not being careful. Do you remember what happened at the asylum? What we were told?
And he looks at her, and there is a kind of feralness in his eyes at the moment. He doesn't respond.
She'll take us. Like, I imagine she grabbed his arm and, like, pulled it to her chest, kind of thing, like full pull, right? But she kind of lightly lets go, takes a step back. It's like she wasn't trying to, like, chastise him or anything, but she was, like, 100% worried about him. But seeing that, she takes a slight step back, give him a bit more space, lets go of his arm. It's just try to be more careful.
He nods and looks towards the window again. This very dark frown on his face, and you can see him kind of reach up, and it is not a very common gesture for him. He tends to just act as if he does not have any scars. But you can see him reach up and kind of rub one of the scars that goes down his face and his neck with a palm. And then just nods again. And will give the window and the bed a wide berth and go over to the dresser instead.
You investigate the dresser, throwing drawers open. There's nothing in them. Every drawer you find is empty, and each empty drawer is just more and more frustrating, considering what you almost went through.
The very last drawer is opened with a little bit more force and just throws his hands up, still holding the shillelagh with one hand, starts back towards the door.
Evie, how are you holding up, witnessing all of that?
Evie is, she's got her own thoughts on the matter, I think.
Hmm.
And she's grateful to Elaine for having pulled him back. And as everyone is searching the area, she quiets down for a little while and doesn't. It's not that she's gotten sadder or anything, it's that she's starting to understand this is the part where things really do get serious. And it's less so time for joking around. So she tries to make herself helpful, looking around, but she's quieting down.
All right. You exit the room and you close the door.
No, Nathan's leaving all these doors open.
Okay. I mean, as you walk away, you guys can hear the sound of things moving in that same room again. And if anyone peeks in before they walk away, you see that the bed frame is back where it originally was, as if it never moved in the first place.
Nathan wants to find something he can coat his shillelagh in so he can hit ghosts. That is his new goal in life.
Okay. Next room?
Hit us, boss.
The first thing you notice about this room is it's got a different atmosphere. It's more jovial. The paint on the walls is a brighter color. The children's sized bed, the toys that are scattered on the floor. It's almost a breath of fresh air, really, compared to the other places. You can still see a single cookie left on one of the dressers. You can see a stuffed animal left on one of the beds. This place just reeks of childhood innocence. You see drawings on the wall of the family, different animals. And you see the toys are kind of arranged. It looks like they were playing this great war with all the toys over who knows what these children were dreaming of or imagining as they played. But even with all the innocence, you can't help but notice that the corners seem darker than they would normally be in any other house.
Elaine will tentatively step in.
You step in, it's got the same musty air of disuse that the rest of the house has. And you actually end up stepping on a little toy. It's a little teddy bear that was kicked off the bed. The beds aren't made. They're it looks like they've got the good enough throw the blanket over it. It looks like they didn't make their beds properly that day, so they were probably going to get in trouble when their mom found them. Like,
She'll pick up the teddy bear she stood on and look at it, and then set it on the nearby bed, like towards the pillows.
mm,
I don't think we'll find much in this room, but we'll kind of sift through the toys and just see if there's anything dangerous or whatnot. Anything weird. I don't
if
know
you're
if there's any
searching,
like bookshelves or anything like that
there's
either.
some children's bookshelves. There's a little cubby hole that's got a bunch of drawings in it. If you want to search, you can roll me a spot hidden.
Sure. Hey.
Okay. So, with that success, the toys just look like toys. You know, you see little figures of cowboys and a couple of little model airplanes are on the ground. You sidestep those, you go over to the bookshelf. There's some children's books that are there. You see some of the edges are torn, some writing on some of them, which hurts your heart a little bit as a scholar. But, you know,
Hmm.
these are children. You see a little cubbyhole full of different drawings that have been made and some different art supplies. And You start flipping through them. Some of them are really cute. It looks like an animal of some sort. Maybe it's a dog. It could be a cow. It's got 4 legs and big ears. You're not really sure what it is, but it's very endearing. You see a family portrait, and then you see another family portrait, this time of just the mother and kid. Um, and then one lying on the ground with a sad face. You can see another. This one's really hard to make out. There's lots of scribbles on it, but you're able to make out one side. It looks like one of those cowboys. You can make out the hat and the little classic little revolver toy on it. And it looks like the cowboy is on an airplane. On it, not even driving it, just standing on an airplane. And it looks like it's shooting at something. You can't make out what it is. It's something very dark. And it's something that kind of unsettles you a bit. You can't really make out the shape. You can make out just vibrant, glowing eyes in the shadow. And you can almost make out teeth too, but nothing else.
Mm. Elena will kind of look at the image or the picture, kind of stare at it for a few seconds and kind of frown. She'll tear the scribbled part out and rip that up and leave the cowboy on the airplane, like on the uh, desk or table or wherever it was.
Hmm. Can you walk me through why? Like, what's going through her mind as your companions see you flip through these pictures, getting increasingly upset as you just rip that in half and just tear one half into bits?
She she's just thinking back on the last room they were in, and she's very worried about her friend and a little upset at this thing for trying to, like, she I don't know if this makes sense because, like, I'm sure they've dealt with other things before, but the trap just feels so.
Slimy.
What?
Slimy.
Yeah, like it's like do things yourself, you fucker. You know,
I'll
like
say that this is on a different level from what you guys have investigated previously. There was
ah,
danger, yes, but I would say that aside from your personal experiences, as a group, that was the closest to death someone has been.
yeah. Okay,
We've
then
gotten
even
beaten up before, but not something as dangerous as that.
okay, so
At least
even
not
more
something,
so.
yeah, at least not something Nathan wasn't able to shoot down
Yeah, so
before it
even
got hurt
again,
too bad.
yeah, this this really upsets Elaine. This is her friend and like coworker. So she's really upset at this thing. And she thinks just it's trying to lay a trap like that. And also the fact that it did the exact same thing to the family that was here. Like this should be a happy home for these kids. And like downstairs they were literally essentially rushed out when they were about to have dinner. Like it's just it's horrible.
Does tearing the picture make her feel any better?
Not really. Probably not.
Okay. Well, standing there, you've got bits of the image torn at your feet.
Mm. So she'll set the book down again, look through the cupboard, It's just clothes.
Yep, and that's all you really find.
Okay. Yeah, she'll turn back around and go back to her companions. There does not seem to be anything of note here.
Well, I guess that's good. At least it seemed to leave the kids alone.
Fortunately.
Nathan will head down to the last door in this hallway.
To the last door in the hallway, you're getting reminded of the living room, and you realize, ah, yes, this was the adults' room. This room, it's got a double bed, it's got a bookshelf in the back. It also has a window. Every room has a window, which just puts an even worse taste in the back of your mouths as you remember what happened at the last window. But you see, there are so many crosses and Virgin Mary statues and candles that have been burnt down to the wick. So there's hardly any wax left. There's a rosary on the bedside table right next to the bed.
Nathan will slowly walk in, kind of wait, see if anything moves when he enters. And is this the rosary, or is the rosary supposed to be over here?
Over here. There's also something called a breviary and breviary. I don't know what that is though. Breviary?
Think I know what that is.
It's that. I'm too Hindu to know what that
Oh,
is.
Oh yeah.
it's a book of hours.
Mhm.
So what?
So there's, if you're super mega Catholic, there's prayers you're supposed to say at certain times of day that are
Mm-hmm.
called they're, um is it hours? Are they just called hours, this group say?
That's mostly what I've heard.
Yeah. So there's like different kinds and they have cute names, but that's basically the book that tells you which ones you pray at which times.
Mhm.
It's like saying a prayer before dinner, but like more.
Yeah, I think there's 7 of them a day. So it's actually very similar to Muslims having their 3 times a day that they pray towards Mecca. There's 7 times a
Okay.
day that you pray very specific prayers for things.
Okay, thank you. But yes, those are on the bedside table over there.
Nathan will very cautiously walk his way around
Mm-hmm.
and go over and pick up the rosary.
You pick it up and it feels cold in your hands. It hasn't been touched in months. There's a little bit of dust, but you can pick it up. And there's no sound, no disturbance other than the slight creaking of the floorboards beneath you as you walk cautiously, now knowing what this creature is capable of.
And Nathan will kind of look around the room and is this like a dresser over here?
It's a bookshelf.
From where he is standing, can he see if there's any particularly interesting looking books on the shelf?
It's full of very interesting books, but interesting in the sense of useful to you? No. This looks like a normal set of books. Maybe some more religious ones. A couple different copies of the Bible. But other than that, it looks like a normal collection of books.
He'll kind of investigate the bedside table, still holding the rosary. And
Mm-hmm.
then he'll also, I'm gonna fucking regret this one, lean down and look under the bed really fast. Just make sure there's not any boxes he needs to yoink out from under there.
So the first thing that you see is what looks to be darkness. You don't see anything at first, but as your eyes adjust, you are face to face with that same Virgin Mary statue that you left in the living room, staring at you, laying on its side. You know it's the same because it's got the same wear and tear. It's got the same little weathered marks on the bottom where you would normally hold it to move it. It's got the same dust disturbance from when you touched it earlier. The only difference is that you swear it looks like it's been crying.
I don't like that.
See, this is the thing about the, because I know death comes quickly in this system, which makes me not want to do something. But the angry Southerner in me and the angry Irish man that is Nathan makes me want to do something that's very ill-advised.
Quick save.
What are you thinking?
Because this is the Virgin Mary that this thing is using.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a lapsed Catholic, but a Irish Catholic all the same.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to snatch the Virgin Mary out from under the bed.
Ooh.
Ill-advised. I told you. Do I actually snatch the Virgin Mary?
If you want to, you are free to go ahead. And,
Just imagine as I roll this, you see the just shuffling of Nathan as he is looking around and prodding around and goes down and then goes very still.
Evie, as Nathan does this, Nathan's like flat on the floor, right?
Not flat on the floor. I imagine he is more like one knee on the floor, hand on the floor, reaching down, like has used his other hand to like lift the cover up. So he's kind of like
Evie,
sideways, and he's frozen
Evie's.
now.
I think I'll have Evie like almost as if to brace him for getting like sucked into the bed. She's gonna like plant her legs and just like wrap her arms around him and maybe like brace one leg against the bed in case he starts moving.
Nathan, I want you to roll me a will save. Sorry, a power save. Willpower.
Which one of these?
It's one of your stats.
Am I blind?
It's at the very top.
Power. Okay, power.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
started looking. Okay.
Sorry, it's willpower. On some sheets it's will, other sheets it's power. Sometimes it's pow.
Pow pow.
Pow.
That's good.
Hey.
He's great.
All right, let's see. Hold on.
It's that power of friendship and
Oh,
Catholicism. He's got God and anime on his side.
I'm gonna screenshot this.
You rolled in that one, didn't you?
No, no, I didn't roll a 1. I rolled a 2.
You.
Ooh.
Oof.
Ooh.
You want to spend some luck and bring that down to a 0?
You could spend luck
I
to
do
bring it
have a
down
lot
to
of luck.
a 1.
Fuck it. I might as well. I have a lot of luck. I earned this much at the start of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll.
Spend
But
8 luck. Bring that down to a 1 to beat it. Okay. So, what happens here is Nathan, you check under the bed, thinking you're going to find some storage or something hidden away. You see this. And the amount of anger that runs through you burns so hot you don't even think before you reach out to snatch. But it feels, as your fingers wrap around it, it burns. It feels hot, as if you just stuck your hand into a roaring fire. And Nathan, for a second, your vision goes black. And you see, instead of having your hand on the Virgin Mary statue, you have your hand on the arm of a man, about the same size and stature as you, but leaner. He looks more ghoulish in his paler skin, his fraying hair, but his eyes glow so brightly, and you see that he reaches with a snarl towards you, but you blink, and I want you to describe to me, how does Nathan, in this split second where he sees this vision, wrestle away from him?
so he's already grabbed this guy's arm, right?
Mm-hmm. In place of the Virgin Mary, essentially.
So I imagine he's like lifted used like his left hand to like lift the covers up onto the bed, and his
Mm-hmm.
right one is the one that's like against the floor, and
Mm-hmm.
then he is braced by Evie,
Mm-hmm.
and he just lets out just the filthiest string of Gaelic curses that he possibly could, kind of bolts up a little bit and just swings the other hand that has the shillelagh in it under the bed in this like big swiping gesture.
All right. You rip away using both Evie and the bread itself as a brace. You swing your shillelagh and you scoot back, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you blink, and as your back hits the wall, the man is gone. There's nothing under the bed, but you do have the Virgin Mary statue in your hand.
Still
You see that.
raised
Sorry.
voice in Gaelic, shaking the Virgin Mary at the bed.
You see that it did, in fact, have tear tracks on it. And that's where we're gonna wrap up today's session.
Holy shit.
Sure did see a lot of spooky things. It's extremely spooky.
Big spooks.
Thank you for the session,
Yeah.
Amy.